Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, it is Thursday, August 13th, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I am 2 minutes early today because I got so much content to talk about. How could we try and compress all of this content into such a short period of time? I don't know how to do it. So today we're talking about DeFi Mania, gas, price, insanity, and where the heck are the lovely UTXOs we all remember from 2016, 2017, 2018? It was all UTXO Mania. Well, no doubt it was ICOs, but it was all fork, 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 fork this, masternode this, masternode that. It was all UTXOs and ICOs. Obviously, ICOs are completely history at this point. There's no such thing as an ICO in the sense of 2017. But we got DeFi, which is what Cal was talking about over here, where Jared Tate was talking about DeFi as the new ICO, and in many regards it is. And I'm going to get into that. Who's in the chat? APS is here. Yes. Did you buy to Just Nibble? What's up? Naked Eye. And do you know of any layer 2 solutions for swapping assets? Yes, Loopring. Loopring and, or is it just all order books in layer 2 world? Yeah, you make a good point. That's the problem. So layer two is loop ring and diversify. Yeah, let me pop up the screen. So diversify. Um, where is it? Here. Loop ring and diversify, but they are just order books, and this is exactly what I talked about this morning with Blocknet. Where did I put it? Here it is. So Blocknet is talking about Syscoin because Syscoin is a way to get off chain on Ethereum, and Blocknet has their BlockDX tech. They have their Light multi wallet, which is the capacity to manage UTXO assets in an extremely efficient way, not having to download the entire blockchain. Um, so if you combine all the components that Blocknet technologically has with Syscoin, with the X Cloud for the Oracle service that Blocknet has, and X Router, which was what the Light multi wallet, how it works technologically, with a minimalistic DApp Web3 user interface, just like Uniswap, Balancer, or any of the AMMs, any of the Ethereum AMMs, and you got pure fire. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff right there if they pull that off. And this got a lot of attention this morning, including for Blocknet. They're talking Syscoin. That's crazy because Syscoin is a heck of a layer 2 solution for Ethereum. Now, it's basically unbearable right now. I'm talking, I was throwing around a couple of transactions yesterday, and it was $80 a piece. I threw around like 3 or 4 transactions. I must have spent $200-300 just on a couple of transactions. Absolutely crazy. So this is just unbearable. But I think as the yams implode and whatever goes on, because it's a bull off top, it should be. Because Jared's right, this DeFi stuff is turning into ICO mania. So here's what's interesting. Let's talk about what Jared thinks, and I absolutely 100% agree with him. But here's the kicker: underneath it all, ICOs was the ERC20 standard, and that's massive. And DeFi, as much as there's this mania, the concept of money Legos and taking ERC20s and staking and doing all of these types of strategic strategies, tokenized representation, cross chain functionality, interoperability, yield, over collateralized lending and borrowing. Yeah, you could, if once you filter out the mania of this yam mania and based mania, whatever crap they're trying to play with, um, you got real deal technology that is overwhelmingly disruptive of status quo, traditional, legacy, antiquated financial systems. See, here's the kicker, and that's what I like to do on my show. I like to peer through the insanity, the craziness, to see the real deal tech and what it is. And that's how I invest. I have no interest in investing in yams, potatoes, squash, whatever the hell they want to call it next. What I want is tech that's going to disrupt the legacy financial system. And that is exactly why Numerai is up 182% overnight. This thing just exploded. Now, I've known about this for a while, particularly their global scientist-based investing in the stock market type of operation. Now, this was a hell of a rip. This is a pretty impressive rip. Now, if you take a look at the daily, no, let's take a look at the weekly. So this has massive room to run compared to its historic highs in 2017. So clearly this was a massive pivot from their original implementation, and this is a classic thing that we've seen for countless assets from 2017 to 2018. It was a massive dip, it collapsed, but then you have a massive pivot and you have a rebuild. And you look on even Kyber. So Kyber had a nice rip today of about 13%. But look at this. Look at this price action. Big activity in 17 and 18, and then destroyed over the last 2 years, and then it's starting to rebuild. The same with Bancor. The same with everything. Not Ren. Ren is it just seems to go straight up. You look at Ren on the weekly. It's like, was there any history? Because it's just straight up from there. Let's look at the comments. I don't want to miss anything. Clicks in the house from India. Oh, so much a pleasure to have the world in this stream. I love it. Welcome, welcome. And Digibyte is a big deal. Digibyte is one of the charts that I keep up. So Digibyte, let's take a look at the history real quick. So the massive history of 2017 and 18 was these giant 3 rips. Now, this is nice to have historical context, but you really obviously can only play with today. Look, and where are we today? What is today telling us? Today says on the weekly we never hit oversold since September 2019. Never. You see this? We barely ever hit oversold. So that is a bullish. So you can see here's the bullish divergence, so to speak. So that's a bullish trend line. Obviously, it's in red. I could change it to greens. That's upward sloping. That's bullish. Look at this trend formation. This was a symmetric triangle dating back to April of this year, April 2020, with a break to the upside. I get a little marker going. That's bullish. Obviously, here, this is another bullish sign. Take a look. Here, check it out. Let me circle it. Look at the guppies turning gray. So red guppies means the averages are trending down and the 200 EMA is trending down. And gray means things are leveling off. And that is a precursor to turning green. That's bullish. That's our third confluence. And we know what happens when Digibyte turns green. That thing does not go up 5%. So Digibyte is close because it's got its Rosetta implementation done, and Coinbase has its eye. And bear in mind, the Numerai 100, 200% run is probably because of the Coinbase Pro listing, as well as a bit of venture capital funding they got, about $3 million funding from Union Square Ventures. So this Numerai is a big deal. So Numerai is now on my radar. Now, here's something important that I'd like to share with everyone. The first thing a lot of people would think is 182%. They're like, oh, I missed it. I feel so bad. I missed another opportunity. No. But this is a great thing. This puts something on your radar, and it's a $282 million market cap, which is prime, juicy target. Yeah, I know a lot of people are trying to throw $100 in and trying to make $1 million off $100. That's not going to happen. That's not even remotely realistic. But if you could throw $10,000 in and turn that into $20,000, that changes things. That changes your numbers for an entire year. And you're not going to put $10,000 into something that's a $10 million market cap. It's going to get crushed 50%. There's too much risk and reward. But what you have with such a bullish move here, what you do is you take a look at the chart, you break it down on the 4-hour, and clearly there's nothing you can do right now because this thing just ripped a huge amount. There's no reason it can't retrace the entire Stoke field and go into oversold, and you find yourself down here at whatever, 300,000 sats, which would be a 50%, a little less than 50%, be 25,000. This would be 50% retrace. But the point is, this means it's an indicator that it's to now be on your radar. It's got the attention of people, and the functionality has absolutely always been on my radar. Erasure Bay was the original thing, and Numerai. I mean, this thing is straight up WikiLeaks for crypto. This is really cool. And Numerai, this has DeFi components with staking, and 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 that's the whole point. That's what DeFi is. DeFi is where general public can participate in some sort of financial strategy, a money Lego type concept, and produce gains. And this has a bit of betting. Tournament is kind of synonymous with betting. And it's betting on the Russell 3000. Now, we all know with money print to go burr, this thing's basically going to go straight up. Just like the best stock market on the planet, which is Venezuela. Bum, bum, bum. It went from 15,000 to 463,000. Just like the New York Stock Exchange is going to do. Look at this. Must be the most incredible economy in the world. You got 100 times, 300 times. Could you imagine New York Stock Exchange going 300? Incredible. So, yeah, this is a perfect example of why the stock market, the New York Stock Exchange and Nasdaq are just going to rip to new highs because they're printing. It's exactly what Venezuela did. Absolutely ridiculous. So what's going on in the chat? What am I missing? Let's see. Swipe feeding my family. Yeah, was that SXP? Yeah, I've seen that. It's just not something that I'm targeting right now. What are your thoughts on Serum? Unknown. I can't speak to it. Unknown. Them gas fees lucky. Crazy. Captain Weber's in the house. Always a pleasure. Yeah. Cardano. So I like Cardano. It's useless right now. There's no smart contracts. You can't do anything with it. So it has absolutely zero utility. So compared to like Polkadot, Cosmos, and Ethereum, where people are building millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of projects and funds are going everywhere and the money Legos are going crazy. I mean, look at Iris. Iris is basically a Cosmos hub. And this thing is up hundreds and hundreds of percent. Why? Because of the BSN. The macro narrative is strong. Now, be careful with Cosmos, with Cardano, because, it could go nowhere. There's a whole lot of news coming out about. Let's do it. We're going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes the FUD and the critics and people hating on Noah Talks. We're going to do it. You see what I'm typing? No, I want Bittrex. No. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Ripple. This isn't Ripple. This is XRP. It's a token that RippleNet doesn't use. So, this is the only chart that matters to me for Ripple on the weekly. Look at this. Anyone who knows technicals means this looks like a 100-story building and you're on floor 0 and the elevators, the power just went dead. Do you know how much buying pressure would be needed to get through this layers and layers of resistance? But on the other hand, if Ripple hits, was that 3,300 give or take on this chart, if it breaks through this resistance, that's a good buying opportunity. But, unless it moves about 40%, unless I see a 40% upside from where it is, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. What are you going to get? 40%? You're going to go from 2,400 to 3,300? No. Not me. Risk reward, that is way too. There's plenty of other assets that are going to do much better in a shorter period of time. So there's way too much risk. This is max risk. This is a big red. And, sorry, I digress from Cardano. I talked about Cardano and Ripple particularly because they're in the top 10. I got Iris up here, but Iris is just, the potential is enormous. I talk about the top 10 because you got XRP at number 3 and Cardano at number 7, but Cardano has absolutely no utility. Doesn't do anything. Now look, Elrond or Tezos. At least there's some sort of activity on those platforms. I mean, look, Tezos, number 11. At least there's some sort of activity. But look, Elrond, is talking with XDAI for a cross interoperability solution with Ethereum because we need to get assets, either 721s like NFTs or ERC20s to go cross chain. And to really go cross chain, you need REN with a custodian and a tokenized representation mint on another chain, which is what REN is doing with a Kala on Polkadot. So we need REN to get in with Cardano at some point when they get smart contracts, because they have nothing right now. There's zero development activity. Anyway, whatever. I'm sorry. I don't mean to I'm not bashing on it. I think it's brilliant, but it does nothing. And I can't wait for it to do something. And I hope when it actually does something, it's not too late and it doesn't turn into Qtum or Ubic or Expanse. Look, Cardano's an Ethereum killer. So is Expanse. 709. This is an Ethereum killer from 2017. So was Cardano. And so was Ubic. 496. There you go. It's a 4 million market cap and Qtum. Look at this. If it ever loads. 200. Damn, Qtum with 278 million? All right. Not something I'll keep my eye on, though. Anyway, I've digressed so much. Kel's talking about Kyber, Bancor, Ren, Atom are not what Jared is talking about as pumping up. Absolutely not. Jared's talking about yams and based and those and YFI forks and those instant DeFi 9,000% per day, whatever the hell is going on garbage. So he's not. And I'd love, second I get Jared back on, I'll harass him, I promise everyone. We'll talk about what is happening with the planet, what is happening with technology, what is happening with politics, economics, and financials, and how all these incredible pieces of technology are going to work together and form this macro narrative that I see so clear nowadays. It's just too obvious. These are powerful pieces of technology that make the legacy financial system look pathetic. So, Kel, those are the pieces of tech that he is not talking about. He's talking about yams and based. Is it yam finance, base finance? Anyway, just saw the movie John Carter and the scene where John Carter was saying his name and the alien says Virginia. Reminds me when I'm saying to people Digibyte and they say Bitcoin. Well, the tokenized representation with that little talisman, that's what REN does. It creates a tokenized representation on another chain, just like the talisman did for him on Mars. Crazy, right? Totally crazy analogy right there. Any targets for Kyber? Kyber is a hyper-deflationary asset. Not as hyper as like Stratera? Stratera. Yes, the Statera. This is a hyper-deflationary asset. So it's not as hyper-deflationary as this, but this is actually pretty cool. So this thing, 1% of supply is burned for every send and every receive. This is really, look at that, 1,800% in 30 days. There's no reason you can't grab like $100 worth of this and maybe if it goes somewhere. But bear in mind that this is like what Jared's talking about, Kel. These types of assets, like it has a DeFi component to it, hyper deflationary, but there's no utility. It has absolutely no utility. The only reason it's going to deflate is because people are buying and selling it, so its price action is based on pure speculation. And that's not what I like to invest in. That's not what I invest in. I invest in technology that has utility, that's game-changing. This Numerai has absolutely game-changer written all over it. And frankly, Acro has the leaders on the DeFi Pulse written all over it. Acro has InstaD app, has Yearn, has no, not MStable, has InstaD app type rhyme and reason written all over it. It has the theme of that written all over it, as well as what else? Zapperfi, those types of what else? So it has this type of DeFi Saver. DeFi Saver is another one. So Acro has this type of DeFi money Lego type automation written all over it. And to top it all off, what does it have written all over it? Oh, go figure. I've been waiting 3 days for this. Where's John? Is John in the chat? He's got a. I've been waiting for this. There you go, Acro baby. This is what I've been waiting for. Look at that, real time. We got a breakout. I've been waiting for days. Hello. Now that's a rip to the upside. You know what else is ripping to the upside? Adam had a 15% rip. Whoa, look at that beauty. You know, what's the macro narrative? So, what's the macro narrative? Where were we? I was looking at Statera. There's no macro narrative for Statera. Hyper deflationary. There's no narrative. There's no utility. And Kel was talking about Link, Kyber. I have so many windows open. So Kyber has a great narrative. It's deflationary asset where the asset itself is a part of the governance protocol, but some of it's burned for every transaction. So there's a wonderful narrative and there's liquidity, and this is basically a component of a financial system. Bancor as well, Balancer, Curve, these are all components of the financial system. This is real deal tech, folks. So don't glance over it like it's potentially not real deal. Any targets for Kyber? Higher. It's deflationary. So the only reason I'm out right now is because other stuff I think is going to pull. I mean, this did just rip about 15%. The only reason I'm out right now is because I invest in trend formations. I'm a breakout trader. Look at this. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, I'll see this at 5,000, 50,000. So I like breakouts. I like this. I like seeing these giant symmetric triangles. And take a look at this. Digibite. Let's put it on the 4 hour. Digibite was a giant symmetric triangle. Let's put it in the daily. Yeah, so here's a giant symmetric triangle on Digibite. Ren, I just have dark nodes, and this thing just keeps going straight up. Uh, Absolutely crazy. So for my two favorite liquidity assets are Bancor and Kyber, except there's absolutely no trend formations. Now bear in mind, look at the history. I got a bunch of trend formations on, and I've been playing this. Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I got the support line drawn here. So Bancor has got some serious details on its chart, information, data, and so does Kyber. Let me zoom out to the 4 hour. So there's massive run up. I mean, this is up almost 1,000% from down here. What was that? 6,000, and we're at 16. No, a couple 100%. But we had a falling channel, which was a bull flag, which broke sideways into a sim triangle, which just broke down. This is going to rip up eventually because this sim triangle breakdown was just before the governance, the DAO launch, which doesn't make much sense. But look, we broke down, we tested support. This orange line is multi-year support dating all the way back to 2018. You see this? And here, let's go to the weekly and you'll really see it. Look at the support right here. That's what this orange line is. And now, so we broke down, and we tested it, we failed, we broke that down, but now we just ripped through the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. This is actually a really good sign, and this is where I start to look again. Like all of this time, I wasn't looking. I was like, hold its support, and it did hold its support. And now is where I look for a trend formation like this. Something that has like a sim triangle, an ascending triangle, so on and so forth. Something where I could play it and just wait for the breakout. Now look at this breakout. This is so bullish, so bullish. That's cool. All right, let's take a look at the comments. What am I missing? I'm trying to keep up. Dave says I'm the real deal. Thank you. I try. DeFi is becoming oversaturated. Yeah, but look at the gas prices. They're unbearable. But we're going to have second layer solutions in time, and obviously Cosmos and Polkadot, and maybe Elrond, because they're really pushing. They're pushing the interop, and I'm rooting for Elrond right now. I don't think Tezos has it in them. There's just I don't see the momentum and the strength in the developer activity, and clearly, I mean, Cardano still has to get smart contracts built, so that's not going to be until the end of the year until anything, even remotely interesting, happens on that platform. Well, there is no platform right now. All it is a governance chain which does nothing. Um, Great points about Cardano. Listen, Dave, I got nothing against Cardano. The only thing I have against Cardano is that it's number 8 for no reason. That's it. It has no utility. It's literally has the utility of Stratera. It does nothing except governance. That's it. It's like, come on, guys. At least invest in something that has utility, like freaking Chainlink. And if anything deserves to be in this top 10, it's Chainlink. Fine, Ripple too. But I think other things deserve to be more valued than Ripple because the utility, what it does. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's what counts. What does it do? Tether does jack shit. Ethereum is changing the world. Bitcoin is the first. So Bitcoin, separate and apart. Ripple has ridiculous utility, but I think other things should be valued more. And Ripple, the technicals look horrible, so I can't invest in it right now. Bitcoin Cash, completely useless. Chainlink is changing the world. It's like Ren should be up here. Ren's going to be up here. It'll be up here. Ren's going to be at 5, 6, 7, whatever dollars. It'll be a $10 billion asset. Cardano shouldn't be up here right now, but it has ridiculously awesome platform technology that's serious, but it doesn't belong up here right now. It needs the interoperability. It needs the cross-chain functionality. It needs the developers. It has no developers. There's no smart contracts. So I'm rambling on it. Bitcoin SV, why are you even here? Litecoin, fine, maybe it has the Bitcoin overtones, but where's Digibyte? If Litecoin's up here, where the heck is Digibyte? I don't know what Binance Coin is doing here. This is whatever. You can't even buy it I can't buy it in Florida. You can't buy it in Florida. You can't buy it in New York. It's like the black hole of you can't invest in Matic and Rune. It's just all. Look, Tezos, there you go. Here's an asset that belongs up here. But Tezos, I really want to see them talk with Ren. You need the cross-chain functionality. You need the interoperability. And where the heck are the developers? So anyway, an EOS, is that even a decentralized platform? Yeah, I said it. All right, where were we? Let's look over the comments before I talk about the rest of the charts. Thoughts on Ren integration with MyEther wallet? Ren's going to be everything. Ren is literally as a decentralized custodian. This is the ultimate cross-chain interoperability solution. There is zero competition. Zero. I mean, Ren right now is like Chainlink with no ban, no teletributes, no, what is it, Zap or there's another one. But Ren right now is like there's Chainlink with no competition. That's what Ren is. And that is exactly why, let me close some of these tabs. I could barely operate. Look at Venezuela. Here. That's why it's going straight up. I mean, this is vertical. This is so, and this look at the Stoke on the weekly. This what's so cool about this chart. The Stoke on the weekly is at 55. This thing could rip up to 4,000, 8,000, and finally get to overbought again. Before you know it, you got $150,000, $200,000 masternodes. Where are we? What, Ren? Click saying Ren was postponed with MyEther wallet. Big News Corporate wanted to cover the partnership, so they deferred the announcement tomorrow. Yeah, no biggie. Patience. What's your say on StormX? No idea. Can't talk to it. I don't know about it. Dave says, wow, thanks for all the free info. My pleasure. You ask me anything, and I'm more than happy to explain it. And I'm not just explaining opinion. Basically, nothing I've said in this entire live stream is opinion. This is observation. This is charts and data and facts about projects. Either there's developers or there's not. Either there's products or there's not. Either there's utility and functionality or there's not. Either there's hype or there's substance. Either it's frickin' yams or it's Kyber. Either there's the hype being yams and the substance, the real tech being Kyber and Bancor and liquidity. So governance tokens is a perfect example of hype. I don't invest in governance tokens. No comp, no BAL, no curve. So that's basically just incentives, subsidy. It's not an investment, in my opinion. That's pure speculation. The utility is governance, is the governance over the Kyber platform, but I don't see them as solid investments. So bear in mind, Kyber is a perfect example of an interesting play. So that's a governance asset that existed prior to the release or the launch of the DAO. So Kyber is comparable to Comp and BAL and Curve, but it's not. So Kyber is an interesting one. Kyber is the type of asset that you accumulate and you have like a $500,000 worth of it in a couple of years, and you throw it into the DAO and you get in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8% interest. Now we're talking. Yeah. Adam says Digibyte. Woo woo. Digibyte is got to be in the top 10. Come on, there's every aspect of the macro narrative. This thing belongs right behind Ethereum. Um, and fine, Litecoin belongs there too because it has script. Or is it hash? What do they call it when it has max hash? Owns all the hash rate for script. So that's meaningful. And Digibyte has its diversified, distributed, decentralized miners around the world. And so Digibyte, Litecoin, they belong up there. As much as Litecoin hasn't been talked about for the last couple of months, when I think about it from a fundamentals perspective, the macro narrative, it's strong. It's very meaningful to have the max hash power. Uh, EOS is openly trying to copy ADA. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, my man Scripps in the house. Yeah, we've talked about EOS before. I mean, they got nothing. They literally have nothing. I mean, it's just whatever. I don't want to. I hate talking smack. I mean, listen. Even if you have developers, so even if you have software, I mean, if you compare EOS to like Polkadot or Cosmos, I mean, where's the decentralization? If you look at the amount of validators or delegators that are delegating to validators on Cosmos and Polkadot, these are massive communities of people that are participating in the consensus. Um, I mean, like literally, Polkadot's not even out of the gate yet. It's not even like fully 100% launched. You don't have a lot of liquidity of the assets on exchanges. There's no decentralized exchanges yet. So it's all being built out. And even Polkadot is more decentralized than EOS at this point. How close are we to 70% of the triangle formation before the breakout? Digibyte has already broken out, brother. This thing has been broken out for like days now. So Digibyte is massive. This is a very slow breakout process. So bear in mind, this is why folks don't see me talking about it that much because there's so much shit going on between now and big things happening for stuff like Digibyte. This is going to take a long time, folks. This Digibyte, I tell everyone, this is the type of bag that you put in your wallet and you forget about it and you check back on it. Because there's nothing you could do. What are you going to log into a centralized exchange and trade this stuff? No. But you know the global macro narrative, the big picture macro narrative for Digibyte. So you forget about it. Just hold it. And then look here. This is what you play in the short term. There's nothing to play here in the short term. But my man Script, this is big deal breakout. This is a massive multi-month symmetric triangle that's as large. This symmetric triangle is as large as this rip back here in December 2017. That's how long it was in time duration. This is the chart right here, the weekly chart. This thing's gonna go, but it's gonna take days and days and weeks and months and over the next 2-3 years, along with the cycle. I mean, look, you got a bullish divergence. Look at the bullish divergence right there. And the MACD is inclined. And where are we with the guppy averages? Look at the guppies. Look at the guppies, gray. When this thing turns green, when these guppies turn green, this thing is going to look like a vertical candle. It's going to pull one of these. And then hopefully this time around, there's more rationality in the market. So instead of having a full retrace, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, we'll have a leveling off, we'll have some activity, we'll have another symmetric triangle or an ascending triangle, and we'll have some actual, intelligent people participating in these markets instead of this insanity that occurred back in 2017. This is complete irrationality. Nobody knew what they were doing, and that's why this is what occurred. But now look, the DigiByte narrative is very different now, considering what happened back then and what's going on now with DeFi and what's going on now with the global financial system. It's a very different story to be told about what is going on. What's going on? What's going on in the chat? What am I missing? I'm going to wrap this up in a couple minutes, but I want to make sure I hit everyone's topics. Tough to find Ren available for U.S. citizens. Well, Ren, no, my man. Ren you get on 1inch. Ren is available on all the decentralized exchanges. Ren, Uniswap, Balancer, 1inch Exchange, Kyber Network. They all have Ren. You don't need, don't go to centralized exchanges unless you need to. So Ren is actually the easiest asset to get in the United States because you don't even need a damn exchange. Oh. Ren, hello. Here, I want 100 Ethereum worth of Ren. And you click, and you attach your ledger, and you swap. And that's all there is to it. So bear in mind you're going to get 5% worth of slippage, but this is what happens on centralized exchanges. But this is why this is so fire for the last 2 months. And look at these Ethereum gas prices. You can't even trade right now. If I tried to do this, this is an $80 transaction. Here, check this out. Look how expensive this transaction is. Look at that. It's a $234 transaction. Oh my God. So bear in mind that's also a $40,000 Ren transaction. So for myself, I'm not going to do that. I have enough Ren. But if you're talking about trying to get $40,000 worth of Ren, and you're going to spend $234, it's not much of a big deal. If you have $40,000 worth of US dollars and you're about to try and get Bitcoin, Gemini, Coinbase, and all the fiat exchanges are going to charge you more than that. They're going to charge you 1%. So this is still a cheaper transaction fee than fiat to crypto on ramps. If you think about it, see, everything you got to think about relative and in context of something else. So that's an interesting fact. And bear in mind that you're paying here to avoid the centralized exchanges. I have no interest in participating in a centralized exchange unless I have to. The only one I'd be interested in is Bitfineon, Jared Gray, Alquo, my man. What a beautiful exchange. All right, well, let's go. Yeah, scripted broke out slow. And Lucky says no with the Cardano Slayer. No, there's nothing wrong with Cardano. It just absolutely does nothing. All right, I'm going to end on that note before I talk any more crap. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. It's Thursday, 12:36 in the afternoon. Another wonderful day, my favorite time of the day. I'm going to see you tomorrow with another rundown of what's going on in the crypto space. Y'all have a good one now. Peace.